Okay, not much prep on this video, so if I stumble along, I apologize. Okay, I don't even have my glasses right now. Anyway, I've got some new notes. So I'll be discussing more of these simple questions that are difficult to answer. Okay, the next one is, what is happiness? Happiness is physical and mental health. All right, that's it. That's it. It's not an emotion. It's not something that is elusive. It's mental, the state of mental and physical health. Okay, now I'm not an expert in health, either mental or physical, but I know from my personal experience, and since this channel is my opinions and my experiences mainly, and my interpretation of life, it's my opinion that that is happiness. And when you look at the definition of happiness in that way, it makes more sense when written in documents like the Constitution of the United States. You know, you have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Those three can be probably better expressed with four different things, not just those three. Life, yes. Liberty, yes. Property, and the pursuit of mental and physical health. Because those are pursuits. You need to pursue health. It's not automatic. The body tries its best to be on autopilot as far as your health, your mental and physical health, but it's not very good at doing either. So you have to pursue it. It's something that you need to actively be engaged in order to have good mental and physical health. And of course, they're tied together. But most people, when they think of health, think of physical health, and they think the brain is included in that. No. It is included in that, of course, but the brain also supports thoughts. Okay? It's a whole different ball game than the rest of the body. Your thoughts instruct, and the brain is receptive to. It instructs whatever is being instructed to carry out actions. I don't know the structure of the brain, but in simple terms, it's obvious that thoughts instruct the brain through some mechanism. If that mechanism is not healthy, or if the thoughts are not healthy, or either or both, you have problems. All right? So it is a pursuit. It's kind of an easy question to answer, but not an easy question to discuss. I'm clicking this. It's not easy to discuss health because in today's society you need a license to discuss these things and a license to give advice and so forth. So I have to put a disclaimer on it. I have to make sure you know I'm not a health professional. It's funny how that works, that we have to have a license to discuss health. All right, I'm just going to cover the basics. I'm going to cover my experiences, all right, and the experiences that I've seen. All right. Next question: what is evil? Okay, this is a little bit harder. I'll tell you what the root of evil is. What is the root of evil? The root of evil is abuse. It's not anything else. The root of evil is abuse. Now, abuse is a tricky subject because it's on a spectrum. All right, this is where it gets complicated. Abuse can be mild, or it can be extreme, and everything in between, right? On the mild side of abuse, it's not harmful. It's actually beneficial. mild threats to your health, like allergens and bacteria, mold and viruses and all that kind of stuff. They can help to strengthen your immune system because your body will fight against it, especially when we're younger, when we're exposed to these things. As our immune system is developing, it needs a fight in order to become stronger. All right, so all these outside forces are trying to abuse your physical body, but you're developing resistances. All right, that's a mild abuse. It's beneficial in the sense that you end up stronger, but it's still on that spectrum where it is anti-life. All right, we can view abuse as, in the basic terms, as anti-life, because we are life forms, we're living beings. We must view everything in terms of life and death. We must do that because we are living beings. Evil is something that is anti-life. Okay, so evil, the root of evil is abuse. Evil is anti-life, but we have to be careful with that as well. Does it mean that all death is evil? No. You have to be careful. Anti-life doesn't mean death. It doesn't mean natural occurrences of death or death through necessity, like when animals eat other animals. We're talking about anti-life, or the force or the endeavor against life. Okay, there's a distinction there, and I'm going to go into that later, but it's an important distinction because so many people will criticize this as ridiculous. This view that evil, the root of evil is abuse, and that evil is anti-life. Okay, it's easy to dispute on a superficial level, but I'm going to get further into it, and I'm going to build a foundation for what I think is evil, and it should resist a lot of these simple criticisms, all right, which are valid, right? So I'm going to explore this more, but for now, the root of evil is abuse. Evil is anti-life, and evil is also irrational. Okay, I'm talking mainly on the extremes. If that makes it easier, it's easier to focus on the extremes. Those are more obvious. The mild side is not so obvious. It's not a gray area, it's a spectrum. These mild abuses and these mild threats to life and these mild irrationalities, they are on the spectrum of evil, but they're on the very far end, and they're not very significant. All right. Now, evil and morality are intertwined, so I'll be discussing that as well, how they're intertwined. How is evil and morality intertwined? And I'll do that with more preparation on a different video. Okay. I just wrote a quick note. You've heard the saying, the best defense is a good offense. Yeah, I don't believe in that. It's not true. The best defense is an effective defense. All right? In some sports, I suppose if you score more goals than the other side and your offense is better than their offense, it'll work. But in life, the best defense is an effective defense. When we're talking about life, living beings, okay? I know that that particular view where the best defense is a good offense is very popular. I know that that's very popular, and there's a reason for that. And the reason, it's not a good reason. I'll get into that later. But when I review this, it'll renew my memory, and then I'll be able to expand on it. Okay. The best defense is an effective defense. It's not offense. Okay. I didn't write this down, but when I was younger, one of the hardest things for me to deal with was a lack of guidance. And I looked to my religion and my family and everything else in society for guidance. Didn't find it. I didn't find it. I stumbled. And I mean, it may be naive of me to think that I'm not supposed to stumble, but there should be something or someplace I can look, because we've been around for hundreds of thousands of years. There should be something that I can look at that will show me how to live my life. We've been around for a long time. Do we have to reinvent the wheel every time someone's born? I mean, is it that bad? Are we that negligent in providing guidance? We shouldn't have to reinvent the wheel every time someone is born. Of course, we have culture, we have structure in the existing people's lives, but it's all dispersed and it's all over the place. Now, there are certain mindsets, certain institutions, certain people that will provide you guidance. That's exactly the ones you don't want to follow. All right? In today's society, they're not interested in life, or what the definition of evil is, or what happiness is. In many cases, they are interested in manipulation for personal gain. So who do you look to for guidance? Or what do you look to for guidance? You look to rationality first. You have to learn the rules of rationality, the laws of logic, the laws of physics, the laws of reality. You have to know those first before you can proceed in living a rational life. Living life irrationally or impulsively or emotionally is terrible. I know from personal experience that living your life in that way and following someone else's idea of meaning can lead to disaster, and it often does. It can even reduce your IQ. I know it sounds funny, but of course, yeah. Thanks, Captain Obvious. It reduces your IQ. Yeah, it does, but it does in measurable ways, not just as a cliche or a saying that you're gonna lose some points of IQ by doing this and that. One of the most important things that I wish I would have known as a young man was the importance of diet, and not eat certain things like carbohydrates. Some people can do all right on carbohydrates. I don't think humans do well on carbohydrates. I don't think they do well on them at all. Everyone can survive without them, but some people have adapted to surviving with them. Just like dairy, some people have adapted to surviving with dairy products. Some people can't. A lot of people can't. The point is, if I had known that I do not function on carbohydrates well at all, it would have made my life so much better. That's an example. Secondly, if I had known about a certain mindset within people, it's often a default mindset as a response to trauma. This mindset of authoritarianism, and how to combat authoritarianism, how to resist it, how to resist gaslighting, manipulation, and be very sure of yourself. If I had known and been trained in how to do that, my life would have been a lot better. On the contrary, especially with my religion, I was taught to eliminate myself, eliminate the self, and allow something else to come in and rule my life. It was disastrous for my mental health. If you take that seriously, if you die to yourself, if you eliminate self and put everything in the hands of somebody else and let something else flow through you and guide you, it leads to some serious, especially in my case, serious mental illness. I became extremely depressed. I needed guidance, but I needed it from, I'm going to wait for the dogs. I needed guidance from a way that I could. All right, I'm going to wait for the dogs. I needed a firm foundation, and rationality is a firm foundation for guidance. Okay? It's a firm foundation for guidance. Rationality, proper diet, strong personal awareness to resist gaslighting, to resist there are ways for people to create realities that don't exist, but you believe them anyway. As a young man or as an old man, you need to resist those and be confident in yourself, and you can fall back on rationality, the rules of logic and the rules of rationality. Okay, I'm going to end this here because the dogs probably won't quit, and I can hear them. I don't like talking over them, and it annoys a lot of people I know. I know that. All right, so that's it for this particular session. I say session. This particular video. Yeah, I can't think of anything else I want to add to that right now. And the dogs are quiet, so I could interject something else, but I won't. All right, we'll see you next time.